What? What?
What?
What?
What?
What?
What?
What?
What?
Hein?
Hein?
What?
Qu'est-ce que c'est?
What? What?
¿Qué pasa?
What?
Hello everyone and welcome to the review in space. It's been a little bit, but we're back with another one, and we're going to finally talk about the don't judge.
What's
Come
the
on.
phlegm?
Don't read it.
Finally.
Chill, dude. We're talking about Power of the Doctor. We rewatched it yesterday as a refresher, so we can really delve into it here. I will be doing a full Series 13 review of it at some point, but this will have to hold out you guys until then. So, Power of the Doctor is the final Jodie Whittaker story, the most recent one to come out, which came out last year, November. And it's been a bit, it's been around, it's been floating around the internet for a while now, so we've had time to digest it a bit, which is nice. What do you think of it?
Story-wise, it is questionable.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Like-
We'll get into all that stuff, but...
Yeah. I can't say all the thoughts immediately, but based on facial expressions given yesterday, anything referring to old Who, you hate.
Not everything, not everything. We'll get into that more, but like with like the Nyssa and not Nyssa, the Tegan and Ace stuff, there was a lot of lines of dialogue. Nearly every line of dialogue they said like retconned like a novel or a Big Finish audio that would take place chronologically after their exit from the show and before this episode, and it like kind of retcons so much of that shit. Which obviously, at this point, I've accepted the fact that Chibnall has no regard for any extended media of Doctor Who, and whether they're canon or not, which is why, partially, I don't really like him, and I'm glad that he's gone, because RTD didn't just embrace it, he pushed it further, and Moffat, he kind of stayed away from it and didn't want to tread on the toes of it, which is fair enough. Whereas Chibnall, he doesn't give a fuck. He retcons all sorts of shit, Timeless Child, etc., you name it. Retconned all sorts of shit. But I don't want to fall down that tangent again because I've already been on my soapbox about that before. So, but yeah.
Yeah. So I think this is one of the stories in particular that's gonna need the fact we've got one old Who, one new Who to show you perspectives.
Right.
I feel
you're new,
another
I'm classic.
Yeah, I feel another old Who who's not the host makes more sense as well, though.
Yeah.
So you have
but,
someone to bounce off. I could just say, I don't agree with this part. But I don't know the past.
No, yeah, but I didn't hate it. It was fun at times. My main takeaway is I'm going to miss Sacha Dhawan as the Master. I really, really like him as the Master, and
a childish creepiness, like
yeah, and he's somehow
this elements, but he's in his own way.
He's one of the scariest Masters to me. Like one of the most menacing. Like I genuinely feel like. He's like a wild card in my opinion of all the Masters. Even though John Sim was all over the place, like wacky and zany, but he was like controlled chaos. Sacha Dhawan genuinely feels like a scattered brain, and he's like dangerous at all times. Any moment he could just shoot the fuck out of Yaz and she'd be dead forever. You know, it feels like dangerous to be around this Master, especially. I don't know. That might be just me, but Sacha Dhawan portrayed the Master so well. And my other takeaway is that I'm going to miss Jo Martin as the Doctor because I don't think we'll see her again. She was the fugitive Doctor that showed up as a hologram.
Right, yes.
They wasted her! Anyway. I won't moan about that as well because I've already done that before. But that's my main takeaway of this episode is I'm going to miss those two. But one thing I didn't expect, and that's something I wrote down in my notes when I originally watched this, I never thought that when I reached the end of Jodie's era that I would actually like really kind of miss her. Actually, I feel like I might only miss her this much because I feel like goddamn how good would she have been with Russell T Davies's writing?
It is the writing. As I said, there was elements I mentioned it briefly last night, but I'm going to mention it at this part because it's about the Doctor. I said the one thing of there was a niche she could have had which was not brought out.
Yeah.
Which has been there since the first episode.
Right.
She engineered her own
Sonic screwdriver out of spoons. Yeah.
Having her be a tinkerer would have been brilliant all the way through the whole season.
And you were mentioning that as she was fixing Vinder's ship at the end of the episode. You were like, wouldn't that have been cool if that was her gimmick the whole time with her weird circular goggles and all that?
I mean, it was there from the first episode of she was the only Doctor who I've seen engineer her own Sonic. Everyone else gone, oh, I made it, was in the background. She's like...
The TARDIS just kind of made it for them. At least the New Who, that's what it's been like recently, but...
Yeah.
I don't think a Doctor... Well, I think it's implied that the second Doctor, like, created his Sonic.
Yeah,
but based on what you knew, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Again, I'm probably going to end up talking about more... This part's just talking about other stuff as well, but it's like, that would have been a good thing... Have her creatively make stuff in a fly. Everyone else just goes, I have a Sonic and I do something. I'm blind. I've got Sonic glasses on. I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, my Sonic's. It's like, I make my Sonic. Huh, that's a new one.
Yeah.
Don't know how you made that on human tools and a spoon, but okay.
But that's the sort of gimmick that would have been cool for this Doctor.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like almost a magician, which is kind of part and parcel of the character of the Doctor at this point. You wave your Sonic around and it suddenly blows up something. The logic leaping and just point screwdriver at something and plot device ends plot. You know what I mean? It's the Sonic has become like a plot device in and of itself, unfortunately. So you just kind of have to accept that, you know, Sonic screwdrivers sell toys, and so you've got to make a new one every few years, and you've got to use it in every episode. Otherwise, kids will be like, "Where's your Sonic?" So.
Yeah, I don't think she actually used us. Oh no, she did use something.
Yeah, she used it a ton. She was like waving it at she even scanned Ace and Tegan.
No, I forgot about that. I thought it was only the very beginning.
Right.
Where she gave it to Dave.
Dave. He left such an impact on the show that he's now called Dave.
I knew his name was Da.
But let's talk about Dan real quick. Like, I didn't really care too much about Dan, but I feel like his sudden abrupt departure at the start of the episode just feels so like haphazard. Like it just like suddenly he just dips and goes. I get his reasoning for it, but it feels like,
I mean, the emotion shown in that first scene, if we had more time with him.
Yeah.
I think it's more if we need to watch the other episodes to make a conclusion on that part, but just seeing when he got shot in the face, it fucking missed. He went into space and took the helmet off.
Yeah.
He already plans then, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
But I do like the emotion, the fact when he took over the cockpit. I feel in character that makes sense. He's gone, okay, I've made my decision. After this mission, I'm leaving, but I'm not going to half-ass this mission.
No, yeah. Yeah, that's fair. I think, well, think about it this way. Dan, in context of the show alone, not extended media, because Chibnall hates extended media, so he didn't account for that. So the amount of time we've seen Dan is through Flux, in which he had no focus, because Flux was dealing with Sontarans, Daleks, Cybermen, Master, Weeping Angels, and then Dan was in Eva the Daleks, in which he wasn't the focus in that, because they were dealing with the Doctor and Yasmin's ship, and then in Legend of the Sea Devils, he didn't really have any time in that either. It was just kind of a supporting role to say some of the filler lines that Yaz didn't need to say. So,
yeah,
it had no weight to his departure because he didn't really have that much development throughout the whole thing. You met his two parents in War of the Sontarans and Flux, and we never saw them again. So it's not like a thread that gets like tied up at the end either. It just feels like a sudden, all right, bye Dan. There's too much stuff in this episode. You have to go.
Here's the thing, like in this episode, that 5 minutes we had with him at the beginning, it's like
that's the only like.
Like, I feel like there's a story he could have had it so easily.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that part alone, from what he does seem like a character. From that bit alone, his personality is, I've got a job to do. I'll do the job. I'm scared shitless, but I'll do it.
I feel like it would have been cool to see him for like
fucking wok.
yeah, he did. Yeah.
That's his only other personality.
It would have been cool if like, in just some of the other episodes to lead up to this, you just have this sort of push-pull dynamic between the Doctor, who's kind of a free-spirited, oh, live a little, we nearly died, who cares, it was fun, and then Dan be like, no, we nearly died, you're right, let's take it easy here. It would have been cool to maybe lead up to that scene a bit better, because then it wouldn't have just been an abrupt ending. It would have been foreshadowing to it at the very least. Like, oh, Dan's cautious. He doesn't want to risk his luck too much.
No, it's obvious from that bit. It was similar to how Clara, there was like obvious time gaps between adventures.
No, I know, but like I say, Chibnall doesn't care about extended media, so we have to take it in context of the show and the show alone, because he likes to retcon extended media. But anyway, that's me just being salty. Yeah, so Dan's departure felt a little bit half-assed, as well as that his reintroduction was fine. He didn't really contribute much to his reintroduction at the end of the episode, but I like that he.
Oh no, it was
showed
all
up.
about a character that didn't contribute much later.
Graham.
No, I liked him. He's a comic relief.
I love Graham, but he just showed up out of the fucking blue, just so randomly. He just walked to a fucking volcano, and Ace happened to be there. What? That's just Chibnall's leap in logic brain of being like, I bashed action figures together, and this character here now, this character go there. How'd they get there? I don't know. They need to be there to fight Dalek.
To be fair, Graham's always been comic relief, and he was given the psychic paper knowing he was going to do bullshit.
I suppose that's true.
So it's like,
Yeah.
he did. Oh, he obviously planned up for this to like just throw everyone in together.
Yeah, a big
So-
melting pot of things that he's done throughout the era, except when RTD did this in like Stolen Earth Journey's End, he planned it out and did a 2-episode arc on it. To varying degrees of quality, this tries to do the same thing and fails in a few aspects. One of the main aspects is there's too many villains and none of them get the spotlight except the Master. The Daleks are fodder and the Cybermen are fodder. And with the Cybermen, sorry, real quick, the patchwork Cyberman that we see called Ashard, he got killed off in the Timeless Children episode, and they brought him back just because and said, oh, they cloned him. It would have been cool if they just didn't bring him back, because it kind of tarnishes the character. Because his whole point was, oh, an emotional Cyberman, but since he's just been cloned by the Master, he has no emotional weight to be in the story. He's just a cool-looking Cyberman now. Do you know what I mean?
Also, wouldn't he have been? Wouldn't Cybermen hate him?
Yeah. Well, no. The thing is that there was a whole thing in the Ascension of the Cybermen in Series 12 about him having more emotion, meaning he can think how humans think. Basically, it's like a strategic advantage. I think was like the idea behind it, which is sick. But like I say, if you just ride that high and just clone that same
you're blaming
idea.
human error for that scene.
What? In the elevator when Tegan's trying to climb down, that Ashard of the Cyberman on headbutts through the wall and goes, there she is! And just shoots the fuck out of her and she falls to her death seemingly. Yeah, that was we both busted out laughing when we saw that because I'd forgotten that happened. He just went, boom! Where the fuck is he? There she is! This fucking full on shoots her. But it leaps in logic. So I don't know. He shouldn't have been there. I feel like he would have been cool if he was just in that story and then died. I would have liked if he didn't die to begin with. Easy fix. Just don't fucking kill off a character that you might use against Chibnall. Anyway, so yeah, I don't know. And with the Daleks, another wasted potential thing. The idea of a Dalek genuinely turning good would have been such a cool plot thread to have for an entire episode.
Yeah, but they keep trying to do that.
Dalek. I suppose, but it would have been a good thread to do where it's like a Dalek is genuinely. Yeah, but no, but it's fine. Genuinely, it just feels like it would have been a cool plot thread if we just had the Dalek plot with the volcanoes and that being its own episode. No Master, no Cybermen. Maybe even
companions.
Huh?
Don't even need companions.
No Ace, no Tegan. Save that for its own thing, and then have this separate Dalek story where the Dalek literally outs the Dalek plan to the Doctor and is like, make sure you kill the Daleks. I think that would have been a really cool thing to do, but it feels like a lot of good ideas just didn't really fit together very well. With like I say, bringing Ashard back and yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like my main note on this was, if this episode wasn't an extended episode, it would have been a fucking disaster, but it squeaks by as a semi-decent episode at parts. It has moments. But as a send-off for Jodie Whittaker, the fact that she's not even in fucking half of it, like... you know what I mean? Like, Sacha Dhawan plays the Doctor for more than she does.
I have an opinion on that.
Yeah?
I don't get his plan.
Yeah.
I thought there were two different ways he would do it. Either mind control the Doctor, as in go into subconscious, but as Jodie, or they actually regenerated
Bodies.
into each other.
Bodies, yeah.
So
you see,
like,
that would have made more sense than just what fucking happened.
it's like, hang on, so you forced her to regenerate, you took over her body, but turned into you, who's obviously got a face of fucking evil, according to Unit. What?
Yeah. Yep.
I'm like, I don't get. No.
Yeah. Also, like, none of like anyone actually witnessed Jodie regenerate into him as well. So like, as far as they're concerned, he's just masquerading in the Doctor's clothes, and then just puts a celery on and the checker mark and the question mark jumper and goes, "I'm the Doctor. Look at me." It's like, Master, it's very clearly you. We know what your face is in this incarnation. You're just pretending. Stop being an idiot. Like, I feel like there's a lot of holes in this logic here, Chibnall. Like, I don't know. It's a bit silly.
And then I
let's be
do like
honest.
the idea of Jodie trying to take on Sasha's energy. And
That
then-
would have been interesting.
And then Sasha trying to take on Jodie's.
But also, forced
Lack of
regeneration.
energy.
Forced regeneration doesn't even technically work like that. If the Doctor regenerated into that face, that incarnation of the Master's face, it would still take on the personality traits of the Doctor, because that's still the Doctor. It's just a new face. Like David Tennant's mannerisms and personality and his moral compass as a person still carries over to Matt Smith. It's just Matt Smith's quirks also gets introduced, and the David Tennant stuff gets suppressed a little bit, like the wells and the maybe, like that sort of stuff. But you get what I mean. He doesn't. The Doctor doesn't suddenly turn into a fucking asshole when he changes into Sacha Dhawan's face. Do you know what I mean? But in this case, apparently that works like that. I don't know. Maybe there's some sci-fi gobbledygook that kind of explained that plot hole away that I didn't pay attention to. But that's the point.
Chibnall didn't
like-
either though, so.
No. But that's another thing, is that with any episode of Chibnall, this one is the worst for it. With the amount of fucking shit that's going on in this episode, half of the episode is the Doctor literally exposition dumping what's happening in that specific minutiae of it. Like, there's a part where they're on that second moon and they point out, this is what this creature is. Blah, 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 blah. It's like she's a tour guide and just talking about this, and then does the same on.
Does.
No, that's what her Doctor does, because of the lazy writing of Chibnall. Show, don't tell. It's an easy. It's the easiest trick in the book with film.
I was surprised
Show, don't tell.
Jodie didn't
Damn it.
have to exposition dump each tap.
Well, she did in the TARDIS. She
He
did.
explained it once, but I would have actually expected it to happen 2 more times with Ace and Deacon.
Oh, right. I mean, that's fair. I would have expected that too. Yeah, I don't know. Alright, what's next on my fucking notes? Alright, so... Alright, obviously the Doctor just doesn't say bye to Dan, which I kind of like. I don't mind that. Originally I didn't like that, but now I'm like, okay, this Doctor doesn't like goodbyes very much. There are a few Doctors in the past that also didn't really like the idea of a goodbye, like Matt didn't, I don't think. So it's in character, I suppose, so that's fine. It would have been nice to just like a head nod to him or something, instead of just fucking ditching him into a box, just not saying anything. But all the same happened with Yaz. after they sat on the roof of the TARDIS, they just...
That was their goodbye.
Yeah, that was their goodbye, but then Yaz says, let's not say goodbye, which is in character with what
Yeah, but
Jodie's Doctor is. She doesn't like goodbyes, apparently. So, you know, I'll give him that. I'll revoke that critique that I had there. Okay, so the return of Ace and Tegan. Okay, I've already mentioned how Chibnall retcons a lot of extended media, whether that be Big Finish audios or novels featuring Tegan and Ace after their departure from the show. I'm not even going to get into the fact that Ace departed the Doctor Who story on Gallifrey, by the way. That's a fun little detail that Chibnall just decided to overlook in the novels. So like I say, he doesn't care about the extended media.
I said, what?
Yeah, Gallifrey.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, so... Also, the whole them falling out, they fall out off screen. The idea is that Seven and Ace fall out off screen. I don't technically dislike that, because it isn't far off of like what their dynamic was towards the end of like the show, at least, where the Doctor became a lot darker, a lot more mysterious, and would play with Ace's emotion to get the upper hand on the enemy who would use Ace against him. So that side of it is okay. I don't necessarily hate that, because that's the sort of dynamic of the more mysterious side of the Seventh Doctor would come into play, and their relationship would get strained over time. So I don't necessarily hate that in particular. Obviously I love the fact they're back, by the way. I'm not trying to say, oh, you shouldn't have brought them back. I just think that Chibnall should have been more delicate. He should have treaded softer around, like, their canon. Do you know what I mean? Not just blatantly shoot out lines saying, this is the last time I saw the Master, Ace says. And it's like, no, it wasn't. There were like fucking 20 Big Finish box sets with you with various other Masters after you leave the Seventh Doctor. What do you mean? So it's like, you know, there's like blatant like retcons that happen in this episode that obviously I've already said I don't appreciate, but outside of that, I love the fact that they're in it, and especially Sophie Aldred. What a fucking good sport she is as Ace. I fucking loved seeing her back. She very clearly was just happy to be there, and she just had a blast the whole time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And same with Tegan, to be fair. Janet Fielding, her name is.
Again, I know it was definitely forced. Like the Graham Ace thing is like,
that's
chucklish. That's funny.
A forced final act, but they're both like sort of like free-spirited people. So I feel like they sort of gel together. Like, let's blow up some Daleks, okay? And so I don't necessarily hate that. It's just how randomly Graham just fucking shows up in a volcano. Like it just,
Graham's a comic relief. As I said, he was given the psychic paper.
Yeah. I suppose.
I think he was the only planning. Is like they did plan to bring Graham and Ryan back.
Yes, but Tosin Cole, I think the actor's name is, of Ryan. I don't know. I think he did. I think he turned it down, or he was busy with another acting job. It was something like that. I'm not sure, but he wasn't available.
So Graham coming back like that is like, okay, makes sense in the character. He was given a psychic paper.
I think I would have liked it a bit more if it was the both of them, and it would have made more sense. Like, oh, they go on adventures together because it's grandfather-in-law and Ryan together on adventures. Woohoo! Potential spin-off, you know, like type of off-screen spin-off type of energy.
That involves.
Do you know what I mean? It's that sort of energy of like, oh, Jo Grant goes off and does her own thing. You know, they go on their own adventures afterwards, after they leave the Doctor. So, but Graham on his own, a bit strange, but like I say, it's funny, and I don't mind.
Again,
I like seeing Graham, so I don't. Leap in logic, sure. At least we got Graham back for a little bit.
Yeah.
So.
The casual flirting with Ace was funny in my opinion. It's like, I'm Ace. Yes, you fucking are. It's like, okay, dude. Bearing in mind, you spent your whole series moping
over Grace.
I mean, it makes sense though. That actually is.
It's a good story arc. That's one of the good story arcs in Jodie's era. Was that?
But it does show like the pace of time. It's like, I'm chill now.
Yeah. That's it. Really.
You just mentioned outside of Doctor Who show or adventures.
Mm-hmm.
There's one, if she was still alive, who would have definitely been in this. Sarah Jane.
Sarah Jane, do you think so?
She would have, yeah.
Oh, well, yeah.
I mean, the blonde, I don't know the names of the old Who. Blonde lady at the very end.
Jo Grant.
Yeah.
Also Ian, by the way, and also Bonnie Langford, who plays Mel. She was the ginger one. She's the Seventh Doctor's first companion, also Sixth Doctor's companion at the end of his era. I love that she's also back, and also. We'll get onto this later, but it's announced that she's returning for RTD's era at some point. Maybe it's an episode, maybe it's a few, maybe it's a sort of Sarah Jane thing where she joins for a sort of school reunion episode and then she maybe gets a spin-off. Who knows? RTD's promised some spin-offs, so...
He loves spin-offs.
I hope so. But anyway, that's a side tangent, but I loved seeing them. Even if it was just for a cameo, it was nice. And also, they wheeled out Ian in a fucking wheelchair just to be in that scene and be like, wait, you say her? And I just love the fact that I got Ian Chesterton back. It's great.
I don't know.
He's the first Doctor's companion. He's the school teacher that was
Damn.
I think he was the history teacher and Barbara was the science teacher for Susan. So he's OG as fuck. And obviously, they got the actor back. That was sweet. And like I say, obviously Jo Grant being back was great, and Mel. And obviously obviously Kate was there, and Tegan and Ace and Graham and all that stuff. So
I would have felt Elizabeth would have loved to be back.
It would have been great. And people say because there's like an empty seat in that circle where there was a laptop, and I feel like there are some theories that maybe they wanted to imply that Sarah Jane was on a FaceTime call with them on the laptop, or maybe there was like a cut scene where they were going to FaceTime like one of the companions that's like still alive as an actor. So, and people have been floating around a few ideas as to who it could be. Maybe people have suggested Nyssa, which is the 5th Doctor companion, also Barbara, which was the 1st Doctor companion. There have been a few like theories as to who that was meant to be, but maybe the actor wasn't necessarily available. There are a few little theories about who could have been on that FaceTime laptop there, sat there, but it never gets really seen besides like from the back. So all we can do is speculate.
Yeah, we'd love to see more the new Who ones as well, though.
Yeah, but that would have been cool.
I mean, Martha's still around.
Yeah,
and Mickey.
Yeah. But I don't think they'd want to get Mickey back though. He's the actor's been very controversial recently, hasn't he? Though. But
aren't they part of Unit or Torchwood anyway?
Martha was. I think she went like freelance or something and married Mickey. What an interesting ending for her. Whatever. But anyway, no, you're right. It would have been cool to see that. Maybe like it would have been cool.
It was literally just
obviously Clara's dead, Amy's dead, so that wouldn't have been. That would have been off the table.
Yeah, Matt's got a bad track record.
Bill is dead as well. So yeah, most of the Moffat companions wouldn't really be available for those meetings.
Jesus Christ, Moffat!
Yeah, I know.
You spent ages keeping them alive, then killed them.
He killed them off at the end. Yeah,
because it was a running joke for ages. Like he kept all his companions alive.
Yeah.
Fucking Rory.
Yeah, Rory he just wouldn't let him die.
But then you think about it, killed with a song.
Mm-hmm. Amy, Rory, Clara, Bill.
Like, he does.
Nardole even. It's implied that he dies like a lot later on, but he does die eventually, saving those or like keeping those kids alive as long as he can in that Sideman episode. That was the final Capaldi one, or second to last.
That's it. So he does keep everyone alive for a long time. And then
fucking murders them, yeah. So that's interesting. And obviously Rose is in a parallel universe, that's a bit difficult. Donna's mind will be blown, literally, if she thinks of the Doctor, and we'll see what happens there in November this year. I'm excited. But anyway, we're getting off topic now. Let's finish Parallel Doctor, then we'll do more speculation on that. So what have I next got here? We've done Tegan and Ace. Chibnall's... Okay, Chibnall... Oh yeah, the expedition dump. The you say it.
Exposition dump.
There you go, exposition dump. His exposition dumping is so haphazard in this episode, it's everywhere in my opinion. I'm getting bored. It feels like a PowerPoint presentation. You're just telling me this thing that like you could have just shown what it does visually instead of just fucking writing an essay on it. Do you know what I mean? It's just, I don't appreciate
the irony
that.
of what we're currently doing.
What?
Expositioning dump our opinions.
Well, yeah, this is a review.
I can easily illustrate by taking a shit.
There's a difference between primetime television and a shitty internet review of said primetime television. There's a bit of a difference going on there. What I will say, I'll talk about Flux in a future episode of the review in space. Woo, look out. But Kate Stewart was fucking used so badly in Flux. She was just cannon fodder in the background in Flux. But in this episode, she's used so well, and also her actress, I don't fucking know her name, but she put out an amazing performance, especially when she's standing off against the Cybermen in her office and she's like shaking and she's frightened, but she's still standing up to... That's amazing acting, alright? And also she's actually utilised well. I just... Appreciation for Kate Stewart in this episode. This is one of her best performances. This is one of the best appearances of Kate Stewart, in my opinion. Some of the episodes she's been hit and miss in the past, but this one's a banger for her. This is a major win for Kate Stewart.
I like the smile she had on her face when she got invited into the TARDIS.
Yeah, it was such a little flicker like, yay, I'm invited to the cool kids club.
Like, finally, even my dad didn't get to do this.
I know. Yeah.
Again, we've now gone through all the old companions and stuff. I did like how the Master interacted with each one when he first saw them. It was like, hello. With
the exception of the lines retconning different things
from the lines.
But the sort of like back and forward.
It was like gave a different emotion to each one. It's like, you two, it was funny pissing you off. I don't know you, but I know your father.
Your father was an idiot. That line made me laugh for some reason. It's just so funny, like fucking got her there, Jesus. He just casually said that to Kate Stewart.
Yeah,
obviously
he was
it has
there
a lot
just
of weight
to
behind it.
He was there just to
get under their skin.
Yeah.
Yeah. One also thing, Kate Stewart was amazing in this episode, so was Yaz. I've said in the past how in Series 11 Yaz has nothing to do. Series 12 she has a little bit more to do. We'll get into this in more of Series 13, but more specifically Power of the Doctor. I think this is Yaz's episode. She does so well as an actress, as the role in this, and also just like coming into her own. I think the main reason that Yaz does so much is because fucking the Doctor isn't in it for half of it. So, but all the same.
Yeah, I mean,
it's great.
Yaz isn't trying. Is also not spending the half the episode trying to bone the Doctor.
No, but you can still see there's serious emotional attachment.
There's different
at the end as well when you see her hand start to regenerate and you see Yaz crying. That's a really heavy scene. I actually did feel that because you know the history there and
yes, but
how much they feel for each other.
Yeah, but here's the thing: Chibnall spent all the time with the previous episodes just, I really like the Doctor, and that's half of Yaz's dialogue. And this one
definitely an Eve of the Daleks. Actually, no.
I mean,
Legend of the Sea Devils also has a lot of it too. Never mind. Yeah, there is a lot of that.
Yeah, but once it was established, it's like, no, the Doctor's not gonna fuck you. Chill.
Yeah. This episode was a win for Yaz. This is a great episode for her. She really does come into her own and stand up to the Master on multiple occasions. I do love the chemistry between Sacha Dhawan's Master and Yaz in this, especially after, though the whole point of the Doctor turning into the Master is fucking stupid. What that did lead to is a lot of really cool, like, tension-filled scenes between Yaz and the Master, or the Doctor Master, whatever. Which is, I did appreciate that. I was really sick. Also another afterthought besides fucking Graham suddenly showing up, though I appreciated it. Vinder, he just fucking crashes on this moon out of nowhere.
He did fuck all.
He did do fuck all. He was just there to be like, oh, I was in Jodie's era for a little bit, let's chuck him in there. Everyone can come to the party, you know? It just feels like he was just there. Just cause.
Yeah.
And also, I do appreciate Joe Martin being there, but it does feel like a really weird addition that has no context or any weight for the characters that were in that scene. Because I don't think any of them actually shared scenes with Joe Martin's Doctor before that scene there. So it's like, who the fuck are you? It's like, I'm the Doctor. Yeah, they do need that question answered because no one's seen this incarnation of the Doctor out of the people that's in that room. Yaz hasn't. Yaz saw Joe Martin as the human disguise of that incarnation. Yeah. But not, her. That's like the closest link that those have. But I still like that Joe Martin was in it, but it does feel like an afterthought.
Yeah, Again, pilot guy. Literally the only thing he contributed was shooting the Master.
Pilot guy.
I never learned his name. All I know is in the first episode
Vinder,
he got lost on his way to get to his pregnant wife or something.
Yes, yeah.
That's all I know about him.
He was okay in Flux. He was a bit hit and miss. I did like him a lot in the War of the Sontarans episode when he was with Yaz. That was a really fun dynamic there. But in this, like I say, it does feel like an afterthought, very much so.
But literally the only contribution was shooting the Master. That could have easily been done by Yaz.
That would have been better if it had been done by Yaz.
I mean, it was a Chekhov's gun.
Yeah.
He won't shoot me.
And also the Doctor giving her the gun. Now,
exactly.
I'm in two minds about the whole thing of that happening, the Doctor telling Yaz to take the gun. On one hand, sure, I get the fact of like...
Yeah, but this is also the same Doctor who handed the Master to the fucking Nazis.
Oh yeah, oh my god, I forgot about that. Now they'll see the real you. I'm like, Jodie Whittaker! What the fuck is wrong with you?
Ah yes, you hand not a white person to Nazis.
That's so fucked. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, but
it is.
The Doctor also doesn't like guns, and I also don't really appreciate that whole thing.
Yeah, but then again, the Doctor knows the Master's coming back.
I know, but like, it would have been nice if there was a specific reason for the Doctor's over-cautious nature in that scene there. I would have liked a payoff there, and there wasn't.
I would say
it was just more the Master making more threats, like, oh, you're going to die, which is the fucking 100th millionth time that he said that to the Doctor. So. Yeah, but I don't know. I'm in two minds about that whole.
I would say
thing.
The closest is the
especially with no payoff to it.
I would say the closest thing is the Doctor had about 4 different things going on at once.
Yeah.
Just got a call from the Daleks.
Yeah.
Knowing the Cybermen. There's a fucking star somewhere.
Yeah.
There's a dead TARDIS. We need to get onto that bit, by the way.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's like I can understand, but it's like everything was rushed very quickly at the beginning.
That's fair.
Like that's the closest explanation I've got is too much was going on in the Doctor's head,
I suppose that side of it is fine. I can kind of see what you mean there.
Yeah. Now, dead TARDIS.
That's just the Master's TARDIS. I've just explained it as well as that's his own, and he's just made it so that it looks like the Doctor's just to fuck with her, and except have like the portal open sign just say ha ha ha.
Yeah, isn't that just 90% of his thing though of trying to steal the Doctor's body or the TARDIS's?
Yeah, I mean that's what it's been more recently. Like John Sim did that.
I'm pretty sure it was before then.
Utopia.
I mean, 8th Doctor.
No, that's true. He did do it there too. Before then, though, I can't really think of much in the classic series where he did that, but I may be wrong. It's been a while. Yeah, it's an interesting one, but it's like it's just a gimmicky, cool-looking thing. Oh, it's the TARDIS, but it says ha ha ha. Wow, interesting. But I think it's just his own TARDIS that he's kind of just made the outside look like the Doctor's just to fuck with her, which is a very Master thing to do, so I don't mind.
Yeah.
And also, it's very Sacha Dhawan. He feels like very much like a, for lack of a better word, prankster Master. He wants to really just have some fun. Yeah. Oh yeah. He and that's something that the classic Masters did as well. They shrink people into little tiny figurines, and the classic Masters would hypnotise people with their eyes and be like, "You will obey me." And that obviously came back here, which I really appreciated. That you see the Master hypnotise people as Rasputin at the start of the episode, but I did appreciate that they did bring back that aspect of the Master, which has not been in the show for a long time.
I'd like to see more of that, and we know the Master's coming back.
Oh, obviously.
Master T. Davis though isn't going to immediately put.
No, he's gonna save it for a big thing, which is what he did when John Sim came back. Eventually, he wanted to wait until he had a really good story to tell, which is fair enough to RTD. You do your thing. Take your time. Just make a good one.
Trust me, I think we're oversaturated on those main characters now. Give us.
Let's have a break from Dalek, Cybermen, and give us something else.
Give us a werewolf. Give us a zombie, a ghost. Go back to what you do.
Yeah.
Go back to your gothic end.
I'm excited for RTD to come back. We'll get on to that. Last notes though. The Rara Rasputin thing, I thought it was funny. It reminded me of the Here Come the Drums in the Last of the Time Lords, which is funny, but I just think it's a bit weirdly placed because literally just before that we had one of the darkest lines that the Master's ever said to the Doctor as she's tied up in the Dalek chair, and then suddenly he just does a fucking song and dance. Bit ill placed. I don't
just
necessarily hate
Dalek
it, but
just looking at each other. Like,
yeah, that just feels like a bit like too much on the nose, too much tongue in cheek for me there. But I'm not going to complain. It's not offensive to me. It's just like maybe you could have done without it.
Yeah. There's one more. Oh yes. So I'm guessing which Master was the older one? Rasputin or?
Oh
Clean
right,
face.
the older one was Rasputin. I'm pretty sure. And then, like I say, the seismologist professor one that is like later on. I'm pretty sure because that's because at that stage he'd already like done the Rasputin stuff. He'd already weirdly done a really bad Photoshop job on those old paintings, and already hypnotized all those people, and then gone to present day to be like, "Hey, Doctor, you never guessed what I did." So I feel like
yeah, but that means he knew he
but-
was going to fail from the beginning.
Why?
Because it was Rasputin Master who.
Oh no, you're right. I think it was Rasputin second. It might have been then. Oh, that's a good point. It could have been Rasputin.
It's more
that came next.
confusing. It's like, hang on. He went all to the future, then he goes back to the past and just waits. I want to know.
No,
more
he goes
about
back to the past and then does the painting thing. Okay, that makes more sense if it comes in that order. That makes more sense now. But yeah.
that. See, I did better
That's
thinking
all my
than
notes done
Chib.
now, by the way.
I did better thinking than Chibnall.
You did. I bet Chibnall didn't take that into account. Yeah. Have you got anything else to say about the episode?
Not really.
No.
Not really. I've said quite a lot.
Yeah. It's it's there. It's not a great send off for Jodie. I feel like this doesn't really present all of the best things that happened in Jodie's era, and it isn't. Stop dying out there. Oh, thank you. Anyway, excuse me, when you're quite finished. The universe has a great sense of humour, doesn't it? I might actually keep that in. But it isn't the best send-off for Jodie, in my opinion. It doesn't really show off the best parts of her Doctor in this story, because she's barely in it. But like I say, great send-off for Yaz, great send-off, well not for Kate, I hope we see Kate again, but it's still like, oh, what a great episode for Kate. Great send-off for the Master. So, you know, and other stuff was good. I loved seeing Ace back despite the retconning that happened there. Same with Tegan, but especially of Ace, because she's one of my favourites. And one extra thing, I do like the fact that Chibnall has invented this sort of like counselling therapy session, circle
like
club.
that.
And now that's something that maybe can happen in the future with more companions.
See, I get
you know
a
what I mean?
thought of Love and Monster done right.
Yeah, that's the Linda group. That's the, yeah. You know what? That's exactly it. I kind of like that
It's like
energy.
the people who actually knew the Doctor.
Yeah, rather than fucking stalkers. But yeah, I like the concept of it, and I hope that doesn't get dropped with the new era and all that. I hope it kind of stays around.
And there's one more thing we need to quickly talk about. Just the regeneration stuff.
Right.
We haven't talked about the Edge.
Oh no, we haven't. Oh my god. Oh no, yeah, we haven't. Fuck. I liked seeing the cameos of the Doctors. That's cool. The idea
I did
of like
chuckle with Eighth Doctor, like just weighing different. Like,
yeah, it's in
feel
character.
I feel that's actually just a
fine.
nod to.
Night of the Doctor, the prequel episode. Like
Not even that
episode.
or that, but more to the fact is, he got very pissed off by the fact he wanted to wear leather, but he wasn't allowed to. The next Doctor did though.
Yeah.
And he went, "Fuck it, I'm allowed to wear my clothes."
Yeah, and I like that as well. Also, there are theories saying that costume, they're trying to kind of be like, can we like do like an Eighth Doctor like spin-off?
I mean, yeah, if it's there.
I mean, everyone's rooting for it, so maybe it might happen. I'd love it if it did. I mean, Paul McGann still looks young enough to do it, so why not let him do it? Even if it's just like an 8-episode run and done. Just a little bit of a glimpse into what the Time War was while he was the Doctor, after he'd already gone, fuck it, I'm going to do a bit of this stuff, and then gives up again, and then it leads to the prequel where he regenerates. That would be sick, because we're never going to be able to get anything like that with John Hurt, because he's fucking gone, which sucks ass. But, yeah, so...
Yeah, as far as we know, John Hurt wasn't that much in the war. He could have literally just regenerated, then done that shooting.
He could have done the shooty, and then
Gallifrey Falls no more. He could have literally just done that.
Well, Big Finish says otherwise, and I love his Big Finish box sets.
I say I don't.
But yeah, no, that. But that's So, but yeah, the Guardians of the Edge thing. How like there's like this afterlife for every single incarnation. Like,
I wanted like the idea of keeping it a mystery.
Yeah,
It's like
it's way too.
This does
they're
imply-
shoving too much. Yeah.
this implies that each Doctor is a different one,
It's a different fucking person.
and they all have to go through this process.
Yeah, like it's one fucking person. Like I don't.
One person, but like real people, your tastes change.
Yeah, it's just. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I like the concept of it. I like the fact that it's an excuse to bring back all of the oldies. We've got Peter Davidson, Sylve, and Colin Baker, and obviously we get David Bradley in the place of William Hartnell, and obviously Paul McGann.
He does look good as William Hartnell.
He does, and he did a decent job despite the really stupid lines of dialogue that Moffat gave him in Twice Upon a Time. He still did do his best, and I love David Bradley for doing that, especially in the the documentary film that he did, which was like a behind-the-scenes thing, which is called An Adventure in Space and Time, I think it was called. But yeah, so as an excuse to bring that lot back for a bit, thank you. That it's a means to an end in that regard. I like that they're finally back in like a cameo role at least.
I'm just glad there's also a Doctor that hasn't been angry with being regenerated, as in like fighting it.
No, she's kind of just accepted it by the end.
Yeah, I mean, she was fighting it when she was being forced to regenerate. That makes sense though.
Yeah.
But it's like, if your body's dying, all the other ones have gone, no, I won't do it.
Well, not all the others. I think Matt Smith took it with grace. Peter Capaldi did not.
Then again,
he spent a whole episode moping about it.
Then again, Matt Smith, there was a bit more energy thing towards him. He literally thought he was going to die. He's like,
well, I've
2
accepted it.
billion years old.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I've got
Also-
my regenerations back. Okay.
About the regeneration, by the way, Jodie Whittaker regeneration. About with Jodie Whittaker regenerating. This is the first time that the Doctor is generated outside the TARDIS since Paul McGann.
Yeah.
Think about that. Which is cool. I like the fact it's a perfect way to send her off as well, looking out into the sunset.
For once we don't have a broken TARDIS.
Adore that. For once she doesn't blow up the TARDIS. Yeah, you said that as we were watching it. Yeah, and what a beautiful send off for her. People are a bit iffy on her final lines of dialogue, and I know that it doesn't mean anything to like a less Doctor Who buff, but like the first and last lines of each Doctor, that's something that's kind of sacred to a hardcore fan. Her final line being to the next Doctor, tag you're it. I think that is such in character for her, like sort of like playful, whimsical, childish nature as the Doctor. I just think that's the perfect final line for her. I know people are like that it's not as profound as fucking Doctor, I let you go, but it's like I just like that it's just like, alright, see you around guys. It's just such a fun upbeat, like, well, on to the next. I enjoy that. It's really
embraced.
It's really her Doctor saying goodbye there. It's not the showrunner saying goodbye through Peter Capaldi's fucking performance. It is Jodie being like, alright, tag you're it, haha.
Actually, I think
bye.
it's a pattern. Every time Doctor regenerates by themselves, that's when they don't want to go. Like, this time Jodie gave goodbyes as like, okay, I'm literally about to regenerate. Regeneration's dangerous, so see ya.
Yeah. I've blown up my TARDIS too many times doing this, so I'm not running the risk this time.
It's more like the Doctors who were against it always regenerated alone. Like they didn't have a companion at the last minute, like saying you'll be alright.
Oh, I suppose that's true.
David and the 12th literally
had no one. Yeah, that's
Matt.
fair.
Matt had
Clara, and
got to say goodbye to
Eccleston had Rose at that stage.
Yeah,
so that's fair.
And Jodie, it was literally like, okay, I need to do this alone. Thank you for being here, though. So it was actually a choice.
Yeah.
The other ones didn't have a choice.
It's maybe because it's having someone there to kind of sit through it with, which I guess is what it is. Who knows? But yeah. Also, going on to the last bit of like, oh, how does the Doctor get killed off in this incarnation? Just being like shot by some random star. I know it's the Master doing his thing, and it's kind of dramatic and cool, but it's like, it just feels like such like a random event that doesn't get foreshadowed up to it. You know what I mean? It just feels like such a random, oh, this happened. She's shot now and she regenerates from it.
Very Master
out of nowhere.
I've seen, no?
Yeah.
Just like, oh, do you know what? Fuck it.
Just literally just presses his thing and then the star like shoots her. I think that it would have been nice if it was like foreshadowed a little bit more.
Wouldn't force regeneration be able to cause something like that? So it's like, it was a force regeneration, but then pulled back. Wouldn't that have cost a lot of energy to do? Could that have been a reason?
Oh no, I just mean in terms of like the writing side. I know, like the cause and effect of like, oh, that's the way that Jodie has to regenerate. It's because of getting shot here. That's like the final nail. I just feel like it would have been cool, but then again, it's not as bad as fucking bonking your head on the control and just passing out, and then that's what the Sixth Doctor died of, which fucking sucks. And then the Seventh Doctor died just getting shot by some mob gang in New York. So it's like, of all the ways a Doctor has been sent off from the show, this one isn't as bad as all those. So you know what? It's whatever.
Okay.
It is what it is. But yeah, I think that's about it now.
Yes.
So now, prediction. Well, Tennant's back, huh? Tennant's back. This is the Doctor Who episode that has the most actors to play the Doctor in one episode. You have Sacha Dhawan playing the Master, then obviously 1, you have 5, 6, 7 and 8, and then you have Jodie Whittaker, and then Joe Martin. That's 8 different actors playing the Doctor in one episode.
This is David in that?
Oh yeah, David, that's 9! God damn it, I didn't think about that. So, 9 different actors are playing the Doctor, and if you look at the credits list after the episode ends, it just has those lists of names, and next to it, the Doctor, the Doctor, the Doctor, the Doctor, the Doctor, the Doctor. It's fucking hilarious to look at that. Which is why I'm a bit like, this isn't really a good send-off for Jodie Whittaker, because there's so many other Doctors that are also playing the Doctor in here. How is she ever gonna get any of the limelight for a final story? It's a bit of a shame. But anyway, I'm done talking about that now.
Even the fucking Master got more limelight as a Doctor than a Doctor.
That's exactly it. Oh my goodness. Even Yaz got more time as the Doctor, technically, because she flew the TARDIS more than Jodie did in this episode as well. Think about that.
Yeah.
But yeah. So David Tennant's back. I'm fucking hyped. I cannot wait. We've got Neil Patrick Harris as the Celestial Toy Maker ? We've got Beep the Meep back, which is the plush toy creature thing that's in the trailer, and this creature was in a comic strip. I won't spoil what happens in it, but it's cool. And also Donna's back. Now, we were going to talk about this earlier. What do we think about what's going to happen there between Tennant and Donna?
I mean, there was already a clip showing Donna's mum,
yeah.
was trying to hide the Doctor behind her. It's like, okay, that's funny. It does make sense for the character.
There's also like that's like got heavy stakes behind that scene if you watch it in context of the episode, probably.
It's more as like the fact is we all know it would have been as soon as you saw the Doctor, you would have fucking exploded.
Yeah. So maybe there's like a reason why it's like that. I mean, RTD isn't one to just half-ass a payoff to a really heavy storyline like that, like killing off a character. So he you know.
I am happy though with the idea of bringing Donna back. It's because Donna didn't die, but there is. The fact is,
there's some unfinished. There's some unresolved plot lines there, as well.
It's more. It's like it's always like an ooh. Like a lot of characters, they do go do their own thing.
Yeah.
Donna
just kind of stayed in this limbo afterwards, as far as we're aware. She obviously made a family. She has a daughter now called Rose, which is really cool. Yeah, so
I want to know, will Dr. Donna show up though?
Well, I don't imagine so, because that version of Tennant is in the parallel world with Rose.
No.
The Owl Rose.
As in
Rose
the
Tyler.
capabilities.
Oh, could be. Maybe that's what will happen when she sees the Doctor and remembers her. Who knows? Maybe that is a payoff that will happen. Who knows? There was something else I was going to say. Riff for a sec while I think. Oh, Wilf sadly passed away in the filming of this. Bernard Cribbins. But there are some leaked behind-the-scenes photos of him on set in Camden shooting with Catherine Tate and David Tennant. So if BBC and RTD aren't fucking idiots, then they'll use whatever they've got and dedicate at least one or all of these 3 episodes in memory of Bernard Cribbins. So he's on set, so they've got to have something. Whether it's just like he gives Tennant a hug or something wholesome, I don't care. I just want to see Wilf in one of these episodes. I don't care. It can be like he can be in the background for all I care. If that's all they got, then sure, I'll take it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I hope that we get something, because Bernard Cribbins passing away was a low blow for me. So I just hope we get to see him in one of these 3 episodes as much as possible. I'd like, but I need something from him really. But like I say, we've seen him on set. There are leaked photos of him on set.
Yep.
Somewhere. So there's got to be something there that's been filmed with him. Hopefully. So yeah. That's all I'll say about that. Hopefully we'll see him for at least for a little bit. Yeah. I don't know, there's not really much else we can really talk about now. Ncuti Gatwa. There are leaked photos of like him in different weird outfits for his run with
Ncuti, yes.
Yeah. The
so I had to work out who
Tennant.
it was.
Yeah. Also, do you think with the numbering, even though that Tennant is being hailed as the 14th Doctor, do you think Ncuti is also the 14th Doctor, just like now his face is that, or do you think Ncuti's going to be the 15th Doctor and Tennant just gets to be 10, Dr. Donna and 14? I don't know. Well, I guess we'll soon find out. Or maybe the fandom will decide, because the fandom dictates a lot of that sort of side of the show. So
yeah,
who knows?
As it is more implied, it's just even in the clothes. There are different clothes, but they're still David's type of clothes.
Like, yeah. Oh, also, yeah, David's costume for this. It's like they inverted the colours, like the weird like brown plaid, like sort of like waistcoat that
he doesn't wear a
has.
waistcoat usually.
No, I mean his usual sort of like sort of blazer type of thing, and his trousers sort of matching. That's the colour of his waistcoat, and then his overcoat is blue, whereas the blue thing would be underneath usually, and his overcoat would be brown. Like that's the sort of colour scheme, and they've kind of inverted which one's is which. Like his upper layer is is blue now, whereas it would used to be brown usually. That's not a hard and fast rule. But then also his shirt is usually the one that's coloured with like grey or blue. But this time the shirt is plain white and the tie is like grey, silvery blue. So they've kind of inverted the colours to really like play with stuff. And there's theories as to why that happened. Some of them link to Neil Patrick Harris's character. And the fact that he is the celestial toy maker and he really does fuck with the Doctor in weird ways that involve regeneration or could involve regeneration. So we'll have to wait and see how that plays out, and I'm sure it will be explained in full and not through an exposition dump. Anyway, that's all I got really.
I do like his first line, just connects.
What?
Not even.
Oh, I knew these teeth. Because it goes back to new teeth. That's weird. Back in at the end.
It does show he remembers each one properly though.
Yeah.
It's like he does remember every generation.
And the fact that he's the same character.
It's yeah.
And not separate fucking people being the Doctor and them going to a purgatory afterwards. Chibnall, come on. What was that about? I mean, the Guardian of the Edge thing, like I say, I've said my piece, but at least we got those actors back for a brief second anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think even in lore, to him, the first thing he says and the last thing he says is the most important thing to him.
Yeah.
So knowing the teeth is like, okay, that's the thing I noticed.
Yeah.
If Capaldi came back, he'll go, my kidneys!
Kidneys!
No, another colour!
Yeah. So. Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Because he's the same character.
Yeah, it's.
But yeah.
It's like, I want to know if there's any divergent in the personality in any way.
Yeah, I mean, there probably will be. I don't want him to be the same carbon copy as 10. I'd like if there was a new side to him. Because
allow
he's
to
a
be more
separate
Scottish
incarnation.
than just Northern.
That'd be cool.
Allow his Scottish accent out.
That'd be sick. I would like that.
No, we already know how he talks.
I know these teeth. Yeah, definitely much more English-British accent he's put on. But yeah, we are at the 50-minute mark now. We've been talking about this for a while. This is a very, very long one. I hope you guys enjoyed it. That's all we have to say about Power of the Doctor, plus our brief predictions on the accompanying specials that will come out afterwards. One of the episode titles is called The Star Beast, and I can't remember what the other two were called, but the episode titles don't really give away much. So that doesn't really matter too much to me, at least. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited as hell because David Tennant is a safe pair of hands to have the role of the Doctor in for this 60th anniversary year of the show, you know, and having Donna back as well. It'll be a fun time in November this year, and hopefully we'll get a Christmas special with Shooty afterwards. Ist for me, who knows? We'll see. But yeah, that's it. Hope you enjoyed.
Yes.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Tag you it.